श्रीराघवं दशरथात्मजम् अप्रमेयम् सीतापतिं रघुकुलान्वयरत्नदीपम् आजानुबाहुम् अरविन्ददलायताक्षम् रामं निशाचर विनाशकरं namami. We're doing Uttara Kanda. Uttara Kanda is 113 chapters. Kujantam Rama Ramiti Madaram Madhuraksharam Aruhya Kavita Shakam Vande Valmiki Kokilam Valmiki Munisimhasya Kavita Vanacharanaha Shunvan Rama Katanatam Konayati Parangatam Yapivan Satatam Rama Chartamrita Sagaram Atriptasam Munim Vande Prachetas Makalmasham Vaidehi Sahitam Suratramatale Haimi Mahamantape Madhya Pushpakamasani Manimaya Virasani Sustatam Agreva Jayati Prabhanjana Sati Tattva Munibhya Param Vyakyantam Paradadibhi Parivratam Ramam Bhaje Shyamalam. We should always have immense gratitude for every opportunity we get to listen to Valmiki Ramayana and to read and to recite Valmiki Ramayana. It's a golden opportunity. We have already gone through the history of the Rakshasas. We've seen how the Lord says goodbye to all of his friends as well. And yesterday we went through this very difficult topic of seeing SItaMa in Valmiki Muni's ashrama. She was left over there by Lord Lakshmana, and we have seen that it was perfectly justified. Lord Rama did not abandon his wife. He merely asked Lakshmana to go and place her in Valmiki Muni's ashram. There was a promise that he had given to Sage Bhrigu, and that promise was being fulfilled by this separation. But we have also seen that SItaMa herself does not have any negative feelings towards Lord Rama, and therefore we ourselves should not criticize the Lord for something that that he did, because everything that the Lord does is full of justice, it's full of perfection, and is full of reasons for the benefit of this entire world. So now we know that SItaMa is safely in Valmiki Muni's ashram. Lord Rama is in the palace of Ayodhya. And now we're going to go into the fourth topic of Uttara Kanda. Hopefully we can complete fourth and fifth, but I'm not going to rush, as you know. We will try to complete at least Lavanasura's killing today. So one day, so it's just been a couple of months or so. So just imagine Lord Rama and SItaMa and Lakshmana came back at the end of their exile. And this was around Sri Ramanavami. It was the day after Sri Ramanavami. We saw that winter had passed and SItaMa was pregnant. And then we are going to see that during Shravana month is when Kusa and Lava are born. So that is during the Chaturmasya, so about June, July-ish or so. And Shatrughna sends the army first, and then he goes to Valmiki's ashram. So this is approximately 1 year, 1 year after they returned. The sage is asking the Lord for help. This is approximately 1 year after they returned from Ayodhya, returned to Ayodhya from the exile. And we can calculate these days, you know. So it's about 1 year, 1 month, something like that. That's when that is when the sages arrive at Lord Rama's gate, and over 100 sages were graciously invited, and they give Lord Rama plenty of fruits and holy water. See, the kings gave Lord Rama jewels and clothes and ornaments and stuff like that. These are sages who live in the forest. They have access only to water and fruits. But the Lord accepts both. He accepts the expensive jewels with the same happiness as he accepts the fruits from the sages. So if we can give something expensive, if we are capable of cooking something really extravagant for the Lord, then we should do it. We should do it. But if because of circumstances or something, it's not possible for us to do anything other than just offer fruits, then we should do it. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachasi. Even a leaf, because the Lord will accept even a leaf, even a flower, even a fruit, and even a drop of water. He will accept it. But that doesn't mean that we cook rasgullas for ourselves and then we give the Lord one blueberry and say, "Oh yeah, Lord, you eat that, I will eat this." No. So it depends on what our circumstances are. As long as we offer things with love, the Lord will accept. See, Duryodhana wanted to feed Lord Krishna one huge feast. The Lord said no, because there wasn't any love in that. So the Lord said, "No, I don't want to eat." And he went to Vidura's home and he ate very humble food, but he loved that. He accepted that because it was offered with plenty of love. Like that, we should offer the Lord the best in our capacity. The best in our capacity. And so Lord Rama says, "Okay, you Maharishis, please, all of you, please sit down and tell me whatever you need. I'm happy to perform the task." Then they said, "Oh Rama, we are very afraid and we are begging you. Can you please help us?" So Lord Rama says, "What is it?" They say that in Krita Yuga, which is Satyuga, one of the descendants of Diti, Mother Diti, was an asura by the name of Madhu. He was the same Madhu who married Ravana's cousin, Kumbinasi. And do you remember Madhu and Kumbinasi? Ravana went to meet Madhu, and then both of them went to Kailasa, and that's when it was that was the time when Ravana raped Ramba. So we have already seen that, but this is the same Madhu who married Ravana's cousin, female cousin Kumbinasi. So Madhu was actually a good person, even though he did kidnap Ravana's sister, but the sister was not married, so it's not that she was someone else's wife, and so he was okay. Kidnapping a girl to make her his wife is the Rakshasa code of honor, and that's exactly what he did. And Rudra gave him one beautiful spear, and it was full of radiant energy. And he said that you shouldn't torment the Brahmanas or the Devatas with it. If you do that, the spear will come back to me, and if not, you'll keep it with you. So mother said, may the spear always be in my family. But Mahadeva said, no, that is not going to be so. It'll be with you only for, it'll be in your family only for a limited time, but treat it like your own son. And when you wield it, nobody can destroy you. When you wield it, nobody can destroy you. So Madhu and his wife Kumbinasi, they have a very powerful son by the name of Lavana. So Lavana is the second cousin of Indrajit, and he's the nephew of Ravana, I can say. Um, so Lavana and Indrajit are on the same generation. We have to remember that. So now Lavanasura was extremely sinful, and Madhu gave him the spear, and then he went into a Varuna Loka. That means probably he just drowned himself, or he just went into the world of Varuna. And Lavanasura has oppressed the whole world with a spear. And they say, "Oh Rama, you were capable of destroying Ravana, and this is Ravana's cousin's son, and this is Ravana's nephew. Only you are capable of delivering us sages from this trouble as well." So now Rama has already promised that he is going to help. So he doesn't say that, "Oh, yeah, 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 I promise, promise, promise." So he says, "I need to know more details about Lavanasura." So the rishis say that Lavana is a cannibal. He eats the sages as well. He eats everything. And he resides in Madhuvana. That means the forest of Madhu. So this is the one that later on became Mathura, by the way. Uh, this is the Madhupuri, Mathura. This is the original name of Mathura. So Rama says, "Don't worry, my dear rishis. I can assure you that Lavanasur will be taken care of." And the rishis are very happy because Rama has promised, so they know that they are going to be okay. So the rishis depart, and then he turns towards his brothers and says, "Which one of you would like to kill Lavanasura, Bharata or Shatrughna?" He doesn't ask Lakshmana because Lakshmana has already participated in this huge war. He has already killed Rakshasas such as Atikai and Indrajit. So the Lord allows someone else to exercise their fighting skills as well. So remember that in the spiritual world, there is no war. So the wars and everything exist in the material world. So whenever the Lord wants to, Lord feels like fighting, he'll call a couple of his bhaktas. "Okay, fine, all of us, let's go, let's fight, and let's come back." Because to fight the Lord is not something that ordinary jivatmas can do. The capacity to fight the Lord, the opportunity given to fight the Lord is not given to every single jivatma. So the Lord says, "Okay, fine, all of you, you come, you come, you come, you come. Okay, all of us will go." And so he will create them as opposing parties as well. And they're like, "Okay, whatever the Lord wants." And then they will go ahead, behave in a very not bad way or something like that. Then the Lord will come as if he's going to punish them. But then ultimately they're all his children. Ultimately, even Ravana is a very close associate of Lord Rama. He was Jai, and he's a very wonderful gatekeeper of Vaikuntha. He was a great gatekeeper of Vaikuntha. If you go to Tirupati, the main deity is guarded by Jaya and Vijaya. The main deities. They are the ones who stand guarding Lord Venkateshwara. Huge, huge, colossal gatekeepers. and they are still standing guard. And whenever you take a look at it, yes, this same Jai came down as Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, and Shishupala. And here you go. Lord gives him so much of love, so much of affection. He's standing right over there. He's standing right over here. And that's the way it is. So the Lord engages in fight with his very close associates, actually. And now he's saying, okay, do you want to fight Bharata or Shatrughna? Which one of you wants to fight? So Bharata says, Lord Rama, I am happy to fight. Then Shatrughna says, my dear Rama, for 14 years, my dear brother Bharata has taken care of the kingdom of Ayodhya in your absence, and he has done all his major service as an offering to you. I haven't done anything. Allow me the opportunity to go and kill Lavanasura. So Rama agrees, and he immediately installs Shatrughna as a king of Madhupura. So the same thing that he did with Sugriva, the same thing that he did with Vibhishna, the same thing he's doing with Shatrughna as well. Even before the enemy is destroyed, Lord Rama is already installing the next person, which shows that Rama has already killed the oppressant. He has already killed Bali, he has already killed Ravana, he has already killed Lavanasura. So that's why he knows that it's okay to install Sugriva, it is okay to install Vibhishna, it is okay to install Shatrughna, even before their oppressors are killed. So this is the Lord. So now Lord Shatrughna Shatrughna is installed as a king of Madhupura, and Lord Rama says, a city without a king is not dharmic. So you please kill Lavanasura, and you rule the kingdom on the banks of river Yamuna. So as we know, Mathura is on the banks of river Yamuna. We know that from Lord Krishna's Leela. We know that quite well. So it is the same kingdom that we're talking about. Now Shatrughna is saying, why, oh Rama, you crown me while my older brothers are still alive. Bharata had volunteered, and he should have been given the opportunity to serve you. I shouldn't have spoken up at all. But because you have ordered me to do so, I'll go ahead and kill Lavanasura. And I won't go against your wishes. So Lakshmana arranges the coronation of Shatrughna. Kausalya, Sumitra, and Kaikeyi, all of them are celebrating Shatrughna's coronation. And the sages have thought that, oh, yes, Lavanasura is already dead. And then Lord Rama places Shatrughna on his lap and says that this is an arrow that that Lord Vishnu used to kill Madhu and Kaitab. This Madhu is different from Lavanasura's father Madhu. This Madhu is different. Madhu and Kaitab were two great asuras, and Lavanas and the Lord crushed them, and Madhu's bone marrow spilled on earth. That's why it is known as Medini. That's why the earth is known as Medini. So Lord Vishnu killed them with this particular arrow, and Lord Rama said that I didn't use this arrow to kill Ravana because it can inflict some great havoc, but because Lavanasura has this magical spear, I'm giving you this arrow. And the best thing to do is to stop Lavanasura without his spear. So the thing is that, can Shatrughna win Lavanasura with the spear? Yeah, of course. But the Lord won't necessarily go about trying to discredit his devotees. So we saw in Uttara Kanda as well that when Brahmastra came upon him through the hands of Indrajit, Rama said, "Okay, fine, let us just accept it." He and Lakshmana did not oppose Brahmastra. Hanuman also did the same thing. Okay, fine, I'm happy to accept Brahmastra. So the Lord doesn't go about trying to discredit his great bhaktas such as Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. He won't do that. So that's why he says, when Lord Shiva had said, as long as you have the spear, you will be undefeated. So the best option is to fight him when he does not have the spear. And um, and that's exactly what he instructs Shatrughna to do. Then Shatrughna says, take 4,000 horses, 2,000 chariots, 100 elephants, and other articles. And you proceed with 100 million gold and silver coins and other necessary riches and chariots and horses and all that. Soldiers should be well fed and they should not be annoyed. And and he said, you send a huge and contingent army ahead of you, and then march so boldly to Madhuvana that Lavana does not suspect anything. He can be killed only by this means, and that is to catch him before he has the spear. And the rains are set at the expiration of the current summer. So that means that the monsoon season is about to start. The Chaturmasya is about to start. So at that time, it is the most conducive time to kill the Asura because he won't expect anyone to travel in the rainy season. The army will. So Rama doesn't want to inconvenience the army. Says let the army cross right now in the summer season itself, and then later on Shatrughna can go. Just one person traveling is much easier than the entire army traveling in the rains. And therefore, Shatrughna, you should proceed with your bow. Shatrughna bows down. He circumambulates his brothers, and then he dispatches the army. And after 1 month, he takes leave of Lord Rama. Now, he travels for about 2 nights, and then Shatrughna reaches the beautiful hermitage of Sage Valmiki. Valmiki welcomes him with argya, fruits and roots and etc. And then he notices a huge sacrificial articles of sacrifice near the hermitage, and then he asks Sage Valmiki. Sage Valmiki said that the sacrificial ground was built in a very long time ago. So there was an Ikshvaku king by the name of Saudasa, who had a son by the name of Veera Saha. Now Saudasa noticed two Rakshasas while he was hunting in the forest, and even after eating 1,000 deer, they were not satiated. And Saudasa, killed one of the Rakshasas, and the other one promised to seek vengeance um, for killing his friend. Saudasa conducted a huge horse sacrifice with Vasishta as the officiating priest, and this continued for many thousands of years. And the Rakshasa assumed the form of sage Vasishta and said that he wanted to be fed meat. So Saudasa asked his cooks to prepare meat, and the Rakshasa was a cook, and he served human flesh to Vasishtha. And Vasishtha was extremely angry, and he cursed Saudasa to become a flesh-eating monster. Uh, and uh, uh, and Saudasa was very angry because he did this without knowing. So he was about to curse his guru, but his wife said no, don't do that. So therefore, that water with which he had taken to curse a sage Vasishtha, he poured it on his own feet. So so that's why he became Kalmasha Pada. Pada means feet. Kalmasha means it's like blackened, it's dirty, it's defiled. Kalmasha. Okay. And then afterwards they told Sage Vasishtha, so this is what has happened with the Rakshasa. You shouldn't be angry with us. Then Sage Vasishtha said, I'm going to modify the curse. This is going to last for only 12 years. And then you will regain your former memory, and you will not even remember that you were a cannibal for 12 years. And after suffering the curse, he will once again rule the kingdom. And this huge sacrifice was actually belonged to the king Saudasa. So Shatrughna hears the story and he enters the cottage. Now that very night, SItaMa gave birth to two sons. SItaMa gave birth. So that's why we know that approximately in December, so we're talking about northern hemisphere, right? In the northern hemisphere, the winter is in December, and the summer is in you know the summer is in May-ish or so, June, July, August, September. So these are the 4 months of Chaturmasya. This is the monsoon season, and it's during the monsoon season, the first month of the monsoon season, that is when Kusa and Lava were born. That's when at midnight, all the the little boys who are in the Gurukul, they convey this news to Sage Valmiki that the beloved wife of Lord Rama has given birth to two sons. The sage comes in and he sees Kusa and Lava. They were radiant like the rising sun. Now he takes the top part of the grass, Kusha grass, and and he and he conducts some mantras and all that, and he asks the elder ladies to clean the oldest twin with the top part of the grass. That's why his name became Kusha. And with the bottom part of the grass, that is known as Lava, the younger child was cleaned. So now the ladies, they take the Kusha and the Lava from they take Kusha and Lava from Sage Valmiki, and when they were born, by the way, Kusha and Lava were born listening to the glories of Lord Rama. The whole night, the whole night, SItaMa was chanting the glories. The ascetic wives were chanting the glories of Lord Rama, and listening to the glories of Lord Rama, Kusha and Lava were born. In the world of absolutes, there is no difference between the name of Lord Rama and the person Lord Rama. There is no difference between the glories of Lord Rama and the person Lord Rama. No difference between the pastimes of Lord Rama and the person Lord Rama. There is the words of Lord Rama and the person Lord Rama. There is no difference, because this is the world of absolute. So By this theory, during the birth of Kusa and Lava, Rama was not somewhere. He was constantly with SItaMa. He was not some place. Oh, SItaMa was in one small hermitage and Lord Rama was enjoying in the palace. No, Rama was right beside Mother Sita. People, ordinary people, will not understand this concept because we are all so used to seeing things in disparate forms. If I am in one room, it means that I cannot be in another room. It's just common sense. But the Lord is not like that. The Lord is not like that. The Lord is everywhere. The Lord is everywhere. Ordinary people won't understand this concept. That's why they will say, oh, Rama, he was not even there during the birth of his children. No. Valmiki says the whole night they were talking about the glories of Lord Rama. Haribol?
Yes, Mataji, we can hear you.
Okay. The whole night they were talking about the glories of Lord Rama. And that means that Rama was right beside Mother Sita. He was right beside her when Kusha and Lava were born. Now Shatrughna is very happy to know that SItaMa has given birth to two radiant sons, and therefore he is the first person to after Sage Valmiki and all that. So he is the first person to see Kusha and Lava. He is the first person to do that. And Kusha and Lava were born listening to Rama, listening to the glories of Rama. So this is why out of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Shravanam and Kirtanam, both of them best examples, Kusha and Lava. See, Hanuman is there for all of them. He has done the Pada Sevanam, he has done Archanam, he has done Vandanam, he has done Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam, he has done everything. That way, Bharata has also done everything. Jatayu is Atma Nivedanam. He gave up his own life. So, but if we were to go through, very specific, very specific things, then we can say Shravanam and Kirtanam. Yes, the best examples are Kusha and Lava. Kirtanam, we can say the whole of Ayodhya Vasis, they were all in Kirtanam. Vishnu Spananam, SItaMa, there was not a time when she did not think about the Lord. Pada Sevanam, Bharata, because he actually had the Padakas. Archanam, it is, you can say the sages of Dandakaranya, or you can say Mother Shabari. Vandanam is definitely Sumantra. He was always bowing down to Lord Rama. Archana Vandanam. Dasyam is Hanuman. Sakyam, Vibhishna and Sugriva. Hanuman is also there in Sakyam. Suhritvena Bhaktya cha. So because of friendship, he was able to lift Lakshmana. So Hanuman is there in Sakyam as well. But primarily we can give Sugriva and Vibhishna. Atma Nivedanam, we have the examples of Jatayu. We have so many examples are there. So many, not just one. So many examples are there in Atma Nivedanam. Shadabanga Muni is also Atma Nivedanam. Shabari is also like Atma Nivedanam. She gave herself. Hanuman, how can we not include him in Atma Nivedanam? But as far as Shravanam and Kirtanam are concerned, it's very nice to include Kusha and Lava in here. The next day, he goes west. For 7 days and 7 nights, he travels And then he arrives on the banks of river Yamuna, and he has a very pleasant conversation with Rishi Chavana and others. So he asked Chavana, how powerful is King Lavanasura? And who was destroyed by the spear of Lavanasura? The sage tells Lavana that the sage replies that Lavanasura has conducted many wonderful deeds, and one most important thing was tied to Mandata, who was an Ikshvaku king. The Ikshvaku king, he was the son of Yuvanashva. He was very powerful, and he was very powerful, and he wanted to overtake half of Indraloka. So Indra was terrified, and so he said, so he comes to Mandata and says, "You have not yet conquered the entire earth. So how can you come and conquer Indraloka?" So he says, "What part I haven't conquered?" He says that Madhuvana, which is ruled by Lavanasura, is not yet under your subjugation. And so Mandata decided to go ahead and subjugate Madhuvana, and 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 he sent one messenger. Lavanasura ate that messenger, and noticing that the messenger is not yet returned, Mandata began to attack the Rakshasa from all sides. Lavanasura used the spear, and he reduced the king and all his followers to ashes. And then the spear returned to Lavanasura. Then the rishi advises Shatrughna to attack the next morning, when he should come outside for food without his spear. So this is the same thing that Lord Rama had also said. So the rishis are also saying the same thing. And they say, if you do this, you will certainly be crowned with victory. The night passes. The next morning, Lavanasura comes out to collect food. Shatrughna crosses the river Yamuna, and he's waiting at the gate of Madhu city. Lavanasura tells Shatrughna, I have seen so many people with huge weapons, but they have all come into my mouth. And Shatrughna is very angry. She says, I am challenging you to a battle. He says that, don't you understand that I am the nephew of Ravana, and Rama slew him? And Lavanasura has tolerated this outrage, but no more. So he says, "Okay, Shatrughna, you wait here. Let me go and get my spear." So Shatrughna says that practically people will not let go of their enemies of their own accord, and I'm happy to dispatch you to the halls of Yama. So Lavanasura is very angry, and he says, "Okay, fine, Shatrughna, you want to fight? Let us fight." Shatrughna says that just as how all the Devatas witnessed Lord Rama killing Ravana, immediately, similarly, all the rishis and the Devatas will see Ravana die at the hands of Shatrughna. And after Lavanasura is killed, Dharma is going to reign. And the Rakshasa, he doesn't have his weapon, so he uproots trees and everything, and he throws them on Shatrughna. Shatrughna shatters them to thousands of pieces. Then Lavana takes a huge tree and hits Shatrughna on his head, and Shatrughna faints. The Devas, Rishis, and Gandharvas and Apsaras, they cry. And so he thinks, oh, Shatrughna is on the ground, so I have already killed him. And so so he doesn't go inside the palace to collect his spear. So he thinks, okay, fine, let me just go ahead and collect more food. At that time, Shatrughna regains his senses, and he stands at the gate. He takes up an excellent arrow, and the arrow is so brilliant that all the 10 Dikpalas are all shining. His face was like lightning, and it looked like Mount Meru and Mantara. So this is very similar to the final arrow with which Lord Rama killed Ravana. And all of its knocks were smoothed. No one could defeat it in battle. And the celestials run to Brahma and say that the destruction of the world is safe. But Brahma says, don't worry, because this is very harmful only to Lavanasura. It is not going to harm the Devatas. And Shatrughna has taken it to destroy Lavanasura, as made by Vishnu himself for killing Madhu and Kaitab. And Shatrughna is also a portion of Lord Vishnu, and therefore he can easily destroy Lavanasura. So this is what Lord Brahma says. So hearing the words of Brahma, the Devatas arrive at the battlefield and they see Shatrughna is holding the terrible arrow. He is roaring and he pulls the string of the bow, and with that he shoots the chest of Lavanasura. It enters Rasatala and then it returns to Shatrughna. And Lavana falls on the earth, and that magical spear goes back to Lord Shiva. So Shatrughna appears like the rising sun that's piercing with thousands of rays and is piercing the darkness. So the Devas, Rishis, Pannagas, Apsaras, all of them glorify Shatrughna. And now the Devatas arrive at the scene. So Agni and Indra want to confer boons on Shatrughna and says that, and he just says, I want Madhuvana to be my capital. He said that, okay, fine, going ahead, going forward, this capital is going to be known as Shurasena because it will have an army of heroic warriors. So Shatrughna brought his soldiers that were encamped on the banks of Ganga. The month of Shravana is spent in encamping the soldiers. In this way, the beautiful city of Madhuvana is reared for 12 years. So all the fields are filled with crops. Indra pours showers in due season, and it is protected by Shatrughna's capable arms. All the men are valiant, they are free from diseases, the city is prosperous, and Varnashrama Dharma flourishes. So Madhuvana also becomes like Ayodhya when Lord Rama is ruling the kingdom. So why? Because even when Shatrughna is ruling, the people are chanting the name of Lord Rama. Therefore, it is fine. So people will say, oh, Ram Rajya, oh, it's because Rama was there, everything was magical. But no, it is because Rama was ruling the kingdom, everything was great. But not exactly. Shatrughna ruled the kingdom and it was perfect. And Shatrughna, yes, he is the incarnation of the Lord, but he has come here as a bhakta of Lord Rama because we are such nitwits. Seriously, we are quite nitwitted that we don't know how to serve the Lord properly. So the Lord incarnates as a bhakta so that he can show us how he would like to be served. This is why Lakshmana is also the Supreme Lord, but he acts as the servant of Lord Rama. He acts as the servant. And here also, Shatrughna is acting as the servant of Lord Rama. And that's why, even though he is part of Lord Vishnu, and Shatrughna is ruling the kingdom as the servant of the Lord. So now the people of the current world, they should follow the footsteps of Shatrughna. So just as how Shatrughna was a very pious king, similarly, all the kings should be like Shatrughna, and they are supposed to make sure that they always propagate the name of the Lord. So now Shatrughna has spent 12 years in Madhuvana, and now he wants to see the lotus feet of Lord Rama. So after 12 years have been completed, Shatrughna goes back to Ayodhya. So there are 7 or 8 halting stations. Shatrughna reaches the ashrama of Sage Valmiki, and the sage says that he was also part of the rishis who had come to witness the battle of Shatrughna and Lavanasura. And wow, what a magnificent job you've done. So that's what Sage Valmiki says. So after meals, he listens to the poem of the pastimes of Rama set in musical tones. They describe the early actions of Rama. They are composed in Sanskritam. They have musical instruments and all amounts of vocal music, accompaniment with notes. Shatrughna hears this beautiful story from beginning to the end. It's full of truth. It's so beautiful. And he's beside himself with joy. And his eyes are full of tears. So, tears are not just meant for crying out of sorrow, you can cry with great joy as well. And he remained stunned for some time. And then he began to breathe excessively, breathe very hard out of excess of surprise. Began to do that as well. And then he heard all the events that have happened in the past. And then he asked his followers, is it just a dream? Because we have never heard this before. And the followers asked Shatrughna, can you please ask Valmiki about this poem? And then Shatrughna thinks, I'm not going to question Valmiki just out of curiosity. So now Shatrughna, so in Balakand, Ayodhya Kand, Balakand, we see Lakshmana, in Ayodhya Kand, of course, is Bharata. Aranya Kand, we see Lakshmana. Kishkinda Kand is Lakshmana. Yuddha Kand is Lakshmana, of course. So what was happening to Shatrughna? Why is Shatrughna very important? Shatru means enemies. Gna means enemy. So enemy of the enemy is destroyed. The enemy is destroyed by the name of Shatrughna. Shatrughna is the first person to listen to Valmiki Ramayana. This means that by constantly listening to Valmiki Ramayana, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, and Matsarya, all of these can be destroyed. He is also the first person to witness Kusa and Lava reciting the Valmiki Ramayana, and they are going to propagate Valmiki Ramayana throughout the world. And now we are going to see the true significance. Why Valmiki? Why send her to Valmiki's ashram? Why not send her to Atri Muni's ashram or Bharadwaj Muni's ashram or somewhere over there? Why Valmiki specifically? So, Lord Rama has already chosen Sage Valmiki to be the one to compose the story of his pastime. Now, any poet can compose things. It's fine. See, even someone as bigoted and misogynistic as William Shakespeare can write stories. He can write plays, but he was a bigot and he was a misogynist as well. But still, he wrote plays. So even he can write some stuff. But how to guarantee that the mood is correct? It is for that reason that he sent SItaMa over there. So Valmiki composed Valmiki Ramayana in Mother Sita's presence. And how was she feeling at that time? The mood of intense separation. It was love through separation from Lord Rama. And this mood has permeated the Lord's pastimes as glorified by Sage Valmiki. So imagine SItaMa's love as as a bucket of nectar. Okay, just there is a bucket and it's full brim. It's filled to the brim with amrita. Now take every syllable, you dip it in that bucket, and you get a very sweetened form of that word. You dip it in that amrita, and when you extract it, it becomes very sweet. This is exactly what has happened to Valmiki Ramayana. There is no other version that can boast of this. There is no other version. This is why it is very painful. It is very painful to me to hear the praise of Ramcharitmanas or Kamba Ramayana or something else. Because I think these people do not know the value of Mother Sita's love. They don't know. Are they all beautiful texts? Yeah, absolutely. But were they dipped in that love that SItaMa has for the Lord? No. They are dipped with the poet's own bhava. And that is great. That is fantastic. There are many parts of Ramcharitmanas that I truly admire, I truly like. Many, many parts. But do they all have this magical touch from SItaMa? No, they don't. Because Rama sent Sita to stay in Valmiki's ashram because Valmiki was the one who was going to compose this story of Lord Rama, and he wanted SItaMa to influence the mood, not anybody else. Do you think that if he had asked Lakshmana, you go and stay in Valmiki's ashram, you think that Lakshmana would not have done that? What about any of the Ayodhya Vasis? They would have all been happy to even give their lives for Lord Rama. But more than all of them is the love that SItaMa has for the Lord. More than all of them. So, Valmiki has dipped every single word, syllable, not just word, sorry, syllable. Every word, words form a verse or a shloka, bunches of shlokas form one chapter, bunch of chapters form one canto, a bunch of cantos form the entire epic. So right from the foundation, Valmiki has made sure that SItaMa's love permeates, that bhava is permeating every single thing. And don't forget that the rasa of Valmiki Ramayana, the first rasa is Shringaram. Let's not forget that. We studied that in Balakand. It is Shringara Rasam. And what is the consequence of this? Remember, in Balakand, Lord Rama says, Mamapi bhutikaram. Even me, even for me, this epic is very beneficial. Why would Rama say this? He is the one who is thinking about the benefit of this entire universe. Lokanam hite rata. That is Lord Rama. But even he melts. Rama melts at the love that SItaMa has for him. He melts. So he, from Lord Rama's perspective, we already saw there are three names of this epic. One is Ramayana, the other one is Sita Charitamahal, and the third is Paulus Devadam. Rama is seeing this as a glorification of Mother Sita because he can recognize her love, her true, unadulterated love for him in every word. Rama can recognize it. And it's just fools like us who cannot recognize it. But Rama can recognize. Rama can recognize it because he's Antaryami. He knows everything. And Rama recognizes that love. He has seen, yes, a poet has to think about the meter, the grammar, the perfection of the construction of the sentences. Yes, a poet thinks that, and Valmiki was an excellent poet. He has composed it. But how to get that bhava? How to get that mood? From where is that mood going to come? Where is that mood going to come? That mood came from the association with Mother Sita. She was in tears, grief out of separation from Lord Rama. Beautiful tears. This is not the deep anguish that she faced in Lanka, because she was now surrounded by people who were just glorifying the Lord. In Lanka, she was surrounded by people who was glorifying Ravana. Over here, nobody is glorifying Ravana. Here, everybody is a Sri Rama Bhakta. They're all chanting the name of Lord Rama again and again and again and again. So she is perfectly happy because she's surrounded by Sri Rama Nama. But and yet she is full of that intense love that is born through the grief of separation from Lord Rama. The grief of separation is there. Similarly, we too should ache for the day when we can serve Lord Rama. We should ache for his company. We should ache for an opportunity to serve him. And if we are not doing that, we haven't read Valmiki Ramayana properly. We haven't read it. We haven't understood it. We haven't heard it properly. And if after reading Valmiki Ramayana, a person says, oh, Rama did something wrong, then that means that the person has not read Valmiki Ramayana. Because SItaMa will never think that Rama did something wrong. SItaMa will not have a single word of criticism towards Lord Rama. So a person who criticizes Lord Rama is not a bhakta. It's just as simple as that. There are few people who are so foolish, and I have the misfortune of meeting them or hearing from them, hearing them speak, not as a lecture, but just as a conversation, who criticize Valmiki Ramayana. These foolish people criticize Valmiki Ramayana. They say, oh, he was a dacoit. How come a dacoit is given the opportunity to write the scripture? Why should I trust a scripture that was written by a dacoit? Are you fool! Because this dacoit became a bhakta by the mercy of sage Narada. He was a friend of King Dashratha, and SItaMa herself was there to influence that mood. Do you not understand what potency SItaMa has? Do you not understand that? Valmiki Ramayana is the only version that can boast of a close proximity to SItaMa's emotions. This doesn't mean that the Puranas are not bona fide. I will never say that. Puranas are composed by Vedavyasa. They are just as bona fide. But in Puranic Ramayanas, you get the bullet points. You get the bullet points. This happened, then this happened, then this happened, then this happened. You don't get the nuances because obviously the Puranas cover a lot of stories, whereas Valmiki Ramayana is just dedicated 24,000 verses to glorify Lord Rama. Is dedicated. In Puranas, you see multiple stories in there. But Valmiki Ramayana is the only one that was very close to SItaMa's emotion. And what was her emotion now? Her emotion was of love through separation. This is the mood that we should adopt as well. Not talking about Madhurya Rasa. We are not ordained to be in Madhurya Rasa. We are asked by our acharyas to be in the Dasya Rasa. So in the Dasya Rasa, in the Dasya Rasa, this is this you can still serve the Lord through intense love through separation. You can still serve him. And Valmiki Ramayana has SItaMa's nectar like love permeating everything. This is why there are no mistakes, no falsehoods, nothing. And so imagine a person who says, "Oh, I don't want to read Valmiki Ramayana. That's too big. I'm just going to go for Ramcharitmanas or Kamba Ramayana or Chakbast Ramayana or Krithiva's Oja's Ramayana or Ranganatha Ramayana." So all of these are regional versions. I feel so close to them. It is not what you feel. It is what the Lord wants you to feel. Haven't we read already? Haven't we already read that it's not what we want that matters? It is what the Lord wants that matters. It is what the Lord wants. And what did we study in Balakand? The first instruction of Lord Rama, Shruyadam itadat akhyanam. Listen to this epic. Listen to this epic as sung by Kusa and Lava. So Lord Rama wants you to listen to Valmiki Ramayana. How are we going to survive after opposing the Lord's wishes? We have seen that one too. Lord Hanuman says, there is nobody who has remained happy after opposing Rama. We read that in Sundarakand. He tells Ravana, there is nobody who can boast of being happy after he has opposed Lord Rama. So do you want to oppose Lord Rama? He says, you just sit down and listen to this Ramayana. are sung by Kusa and Lava. Kusa and Lava have sung Valmiki Ramayana. Why? Because Rama sent his own life. SItaMa, he loves SItaMa more than his own life. Tvam pranapi api garesi. He sent his own life. He sent his own internal potency to Valmiki. You sit down and you imbibe her mood. You imbibe her mood. And that's what Valmiki has done. Valmiki Ramayana is a story of love. I've said this so many times before, but the true meaning is understood only now. It's a story of love. Why? Because it is the love of Mother Sita to Lord Rama and Rama's love for SItaMa. So Rama and Sita, they participated in this pastime of SItaMa staying in Valmiki's ashrama. Once again, Rama did not abandon her. Nothing like that happened. It's only foolish people will say such nonsense. Rama asked SItaMa to stay in Valmiki's ashram. So for nearly around 12 and a half years, almost around 12 and a half years, SItaMa has been staying in Valmiki's ashram so far. So far, she has been staying over there. And in these 12 and a half years is when Valmiki has composed, these 12 years after Kusa and Lava were born, that's where after that only he started composing Valmiki Ramayana. And at that time, SItaMa was right next to him. The sacrifice, the immense sacrifice that SItaMa went through should not be negated. It should not be diminished. She went through this huge sacrifice of staying in Ashok Vatika just so that we know how to chant the name of the Lord even under the direst of circumstances. We can understand that. So because of that, she went to Ashok Vatika to teach us. Okay, so this is how you chant the name of the Lord. Even when all the circumstances are against you, it is your duty. Go ahead, chant the name of the Lord. Even when all circumstances are against you, do not waver from your dharma. Do not waver from your dharma. You have one job to do. You have one job, and that is to remain faithful to Lord Rama. Faithful. SItaMa's level of faith was different. As faithful as a wife, we have to be faithful as the servants of Lord Rama. SItaMa went through so much of trouble, torture. How much torture she went through to teach us that one thing. Do not abandon your dharma. And now she's going through this trouble to teach us what? She has influenced Valmiki Ramayana, that epic Valmiki Ramayana, so that all of us can read it and all of us know how to get closer to the Lord, how to love the Lord. We can learn that. She has influenced it. Every single word is influenced by SItaMa. She has influenced it. Whether we understand it or not, let's just go with this. Because SItaMa's mood is there in Valmiki Ramayana. So she went, this pastime of SItaMa going and staying in Valmiki's ashram was meant for the benefit of this entire world, the entire 14 planetary systems. And the boons of Brahma, the fifth boon of Brahma was that Valmiki will be honored in the 14 planetary systems. Why? Because right from the Brahma's Loka all the way to Patala, everybody is reciting Valmiki Ramayana. Everybody is chanting Valmiki Ramayana. And because of that, they're all praising the author. They're praising the author. So from from Brahma's Loka till all the way till Patala, all the great celestials are all listening to Valmiki Ramayana. Why can't we? Why can't we? And SItaMa's influence is there. All the 14 planetary systems, whenever they are listening to Ramayana, they are reciting Valmiki Ramayana. And all of them are beginning to understand how to love the Lord, how to be stern in our dharma, to be affectionate towards the Lord. How to do that? So, this is why this pastime took place. Yes, SItaMa said, I want to go and see my the ascetics on the banks of river Ganga. Yes, Lord Rama thinks about dharma of a king and all that. Yes, Brigumuni had cursed Lord Vishnu and all that, and so it was to make sure that the curse of Brigu is accounted for in this Janma. It's for all of the reasons, but then the underlying reason was to influence the mood of Valmiki. Now, the opposite way, the other way of thinking about this is that when a bhakta wants to serve the Lord will equip that bhakta with necessary intelligence, necessary emotions, and everything to do the work. The Lord will equip. And that's why SItaMa's influence was necessary in Valmiki's ashram. That's why she was sent over there. That's why she went to Valmiki's ashram. So Rama did not abandon her. Nothing like that took place. Absolutely, all of those stories are all wrong, 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 wrong. Very poor understanding of the Lord's pastimes. It's only with very poor understanding of the Lord's pastimes, the Lord's motives, can one reach such an erroneous conclusion. Rama gave his life. SItaMa was more important to him than his own life. Rama gave his own life to Valmiki Muni so that he can compose Valmiki Ramayana that is going to benefit all the living entities in these 14 planetary systems. It's going to benefit everyone. Because Rama is not happy with just one child coming back to him. He wants all his children to come back to him. All, everybody. Whether you're in the body of a microbe or whether you're in the body of a whale, you're the child of the Lord. And Lord Rama wants all of us to come back to him. He wants our association much more than we want his. He wants our association. And for that, he is enacting these pastimes. We saw that when SItaMa went to the Valmiki's ashram, Rama was drenched in tears. For 4 days, he didn't do anything. He was drenched in tears because of separation from SItaMa. And yet it was necessary because he wants to bring all of his bhaktas close to him. He wants all his living entities, all his children to come close to him. This is Lord Rama. This is Lord Rama. And imagine what sin that person has committed if they can say that Rama has made a mistake. Imagine how many sins that person has committed to think that Rama made a mistake. So let's learn Ramayana as composed by Valmiki, who was influenced by Mother Sita, And Ramayana is meant to uplift this entire universe. And we see SItaMa's love for us in every single word. Now, let's get back. Shatrughna does not sleep. He is constantly thinking about Lord Rama's pastimes. Next day, he says goodbye to Sage Valmiki, and then he runs to Ayodhya because he is very eager to see the Lord Rama again. He enters Ayodhya, he sees Rama in the royal assembly. He says that Lavanasura has been killed and he has been ruling the kingdom for 12 years. And Shatrughna says, Rama, I don't want to be away from you because if I'm away from you, I'm like a motherless child, oh Rama. But Rama says, you shouldn't be unhappy because you're living far away, and whenever it's necessary, you can come over here, you can visit me, but you should go back because it is necessary to govern the kingdom. So Shatrughna remains in Ayodhya for 7 days and nights, and then he goes back to his city. Lakshmana and Bharata follow him for some distance. They don't follow for a long distance because we saw in Ayodhya Kand that the citizens tell Dashrata, if you want that person to return, you shouldn't go a long distance. You should just go some distance. Then that person will return. And this is exactly what they do. And of course, every time Lord Rama conducts a sacrifice, he calls Shatrughna as well as Vibhishna and Sugriva and all the Rakshasas and Vanaras, all of them come in. And we will see a little bit of that as well in the next topic, not right now. So we still have some time. So I think I will start off with Shambuka. So after some time, so there is no real way of putting a timeline for this. It's just after some time is all that is mentioned. So after some time, after some time, a Brahmana comes in with a dead son. So in the end of Yuddha Kand, Valmiki mentions that no child died before the parents, and the parents did not conduct the funeral rites of a child. And it is still true. It is still true. The child passes away, but then Lord Rama will revive him. So it's almost similar to us saying that no Vanaras were actually killed in the battle, because yes, Vanaras were killed, but they were all revived. So the net result is that no Vanara died. And that's what we are thinking about. So he says that what mistake have I done, or the king has done, because of which my 5-year-old child is dead? And he says, okay, he and his wife cannot survive in the kingdom any longer. And it says that when a kingdom is governed impiously, the citizens face the calamities. So there is some crime has been committed. The king has not yet suppressed that crime, and because of which untimely death comes. And like this, the Brahmana is wailing. So immediately Rama sends for Vasishta, Vamdeva, his brothers, citizens, counselors, Markandeya, Maudgalya, Vamdeva, Kashyapa, Katyayana, Jabali, Gautama, Narada. All of them take their seats. And Rama says, a dead a Brahmana has come here with the dead body of his son. How is this possible? And then Narada Muni says, yes, my dear Rama, this boy has met with an untimely death. So, by the way, this is the only time we get to know that we are in Treta Yuga. There is no other time when it's mentioned that we are in Treta Yuga, by the way. So, he says in Satya Yuga, only Brahmanas were allowed to engage in asceticism. They were the highest class, they were above ignorance, above death, very ascetic, and they knew what is happening in the other three ages as well. Then Treta Yuga set in. And over here, only Brahmanas and Kshatriyas are allowed to engage in severe austerities. So we have seen, we have seen Bhagirath engage in very severe austerities to bring down Mother Ganga. We've seen that Brahmanas, of course, Sage Vishwamitra was, I think, in Satya Yuga, but there are multiple examples of Brahmanas conducting severe tapasya in Treta Yuga as well. Now, in now in Treta Yuga, Vaishyas and Shudras were engaged in serving them, and the Shudras, had to serve all three varnas above them, but Vaishyas were serving the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas. In Dwapara age, Vaishyas are also allowed to do penances. So Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas can go ahead and do penances. But in these three yugas, Shudras should not do it. In Kali Yuga, Shudras can also conduct austerities. Why? Because Kali Yuga is very degraded society. It is a very degraded society. So it's mentioned Kalau Shudro Sambhavaha. When in Kali Yuga, everyone is born a Shudra. And from there, either they can go even further down and become Mlechas, Yavanas, etc. Or they can go up and become a Brahmana, but best thing is to be a Vaishnava. So, Narada Muni says, because it is against the Yuga Dharma, a Shudra is conducting sacrifice right now. And that is against the Dharma. And because of that, this small boy was dead. Calamity sets in when a vicious person commits a crime. And when that criminal is left unpunished, then the criminal and the king, both of them go to hell. And it's mentioned the king receives the tax of 1/6 of the earnings of all the subjects. That means that technically our tax should be 15% of our earnings, and that's it. 15%. So there are no tax rebates or anything of that sort. Whatever we have earned, we need to pay 15% of that to the government. That is the very simple, very logical way of handling things. 15%, which is 1/6. So this is the Shastric measurement. Bhagavatam also says the same thing. By the way, Valmiki Ramayana also says the same thing. So the king earns 15% or 1/6 of the earnings of his subjects. So this includes punya and papa. So, so why doesn't he make sure that because he's receiving something, he needs to make sure that everything is okay? And Narada Muni says, you need to address this crime immediately. Once you rectify it, this child is going to come back. So Rama listens to the words of Narada and he's happy. He says, Lakshmana, console the Brahmana and place that body in a vat of oil. Then he thinks of Pushpak Viman. So we already saw that Pushpaka was allowed to roam about wherever it wanted. And when Rama thinks about Pushpak Viman, and the Pushpak was supposed to come. So Rama right now thought about Pushpaka and it appears in front of the Lord. The Lord salutes the ascetics. He takes his bow, arrows, and his sword. He ascends the Pushpaka and he says, Bharata and Lakshmana, you take care of the city. And because he never leaves Ayodhya unprotected, by the way, he never leaves Ayodhya unprotected. So Lakshmana was supposed to take care of the Brahmana as well as the city. Then Rama first goes to the west in search of the Shudra. He doesn't find him there. Then he goes north. He doesn't find him there. Then he goes east. He doesn't find him there. And then he ultimately goes south. There is a big place right beside the Shavala mountain. And on the banks of the pond, there was an ascetic who was performing the most severe penances, his leg upwards and head downwards. So it was almost like he was hanging like a bat. He was hanging like a bat. Now Rama approaches this person, and he says, "I am very I'm very pleased. I am not pleased. I'm praising you for being so effulgent." And he says, "Who are you? What varna do you belong to?" And he also says, "I am King Dasharatha's son, Lord Rama." So why is he saying that he is King Dasharatha's son, King Rama? Why? Because he's saying that I am the Kshatriya king and I have the right to punish the people who go against dharma. He asked him, why are you conducting the austerities? Is it for heaven or is it for something else? So basically, Lord Rama wants to know why. What is the motive? Is it for something material or something spiritual? Because a spiritual benefit, such as the opportunity to serve the Lord, will not have such a calamitous effect. So that definitely proves that this is for some material benefit, because that is why something is wrong, tapasya was wrong, and because of which a little Brahmana boy died. And he says, please speak the truth. The ascetic says, I am a Shudra by the name of Shambuka, and I want to enter the heavenly worlds in my current earthly body. I am not lying. As soon as the Shudra said this, Rama took out his beautiful sword and chops off his head. Immediately, Indra, Agni, and other devatas praise him again and again. They shower flowers on him and they confer a boon upon him. The Lord asks only one thing, that the Brahmin boy be restored to life. And the devatas say, the moment Shambuka died, the boy returned to life and he would rejoin his father. So the killing of Shambuka has a lot of controversy, because they all say, oh, Lord Rama should not have killed Shambuka. He was a Shudra. It is a caste divide and all that. It is all utterly useless nonsense. Nonsense. Such arguments are just basic nonsense. Lord Rama doesn't distinguish whether you're a Brahmana or a Shudra or a man or a woman. If you go in the adharmic path, you will be punished. For example, Putana, for example, Tataka, for example, Ayomukhi, for example, Shrupnaka. All of them were women, but Lord Rama punished them. He killed two, and with two others, Lord Lakshmana just chopped off the ears and the nose. So being a woman, and it doesn't mean that you can commit adharma and you can go scot-free. Ravana was a descendant of a Brahmana sage. He was killed. Shudra, the Shambuka was a Shudra. He conducted an adharmic activity and he was killed. Age is not a concern. Your gender is not a concern. Your varna is not a concern. If you do adharma, there you go. You'll be punished. So just because Rama wanted to make sure that in Kali Yuga, foolish people don't say that this is not a caste divide, what should he have done? Should he have just allowed that an innocent boy to die? Let's see why killing Shambuka was good for the entire world, including Shambuka. So first of all, what did Shambuka say? He said that he wants to go to the higher planets in the current material body. So now the universe has 14 planetary systems. We are in the middle, the Bhuloka. The topmost is Satyaloka or Brahmaloka, the bottommost is Patala. And every single Jivatma is wrapped up in two different bodies. One is the subtle body, which consists of mind, intelligence, and false ego, and the gross body, which consists of earth, water, fire, air, and ether. The lower we go, the heavier we become. The higher we go, the lighter we become, the more ethereal we become. So this means that the body that we have in Bhuloka, it's not conducive to be in this body in the heavenly planets. So Krishna says that there are living entities everywhere. In Padma Purana, it's mentioned that there are 8,400,000 species distributed over 14 planetary systems. So on each planet, the material bodies are different. For example, in the water areas, we see the fish have a different body. In the solar planet, in sun planet, we see that their bodies have more fire in them. And we cannot go ahead and live in the water just as a fish. Even in Bhuloka, we cannot go into the depth of the ocean without scuba gear and all that. We cannot do it. A fish cannot fly in the air. A bird cannot live in the depth of the ocean. So that means that even in Bhuloka, we have different body types. Therefore, it is very difficult to live in the higher planets in the current material body. There are few people who have been offered this privilege. One is Satyavati. She is the older sister of Sage Vishwamitra. We studied about her in Balakanda. She was a very pious woman. She was married to Sage Richika, who is Lord Parashurama's grandpa. And because of that piety, she was allowed to go to heavens in her current material body. But then she said, no, 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 I'm coming down to earth. And she came down in the form of river Kaushiki. Next was Trishanku. Trishanku was the ancestor of Lord Rama, and he also wanted to reside in the heavens in the current material body, current earthly body. Sage Vasishtha said, according to whatever he has done in the past, he's not eligible to do so. He was not eligible. He went to Sage Vasishtha's sons, 100 sons, and he was cursed by them to become a Chandala. And Vishwamitra created another heaven for him. This is mentioned in Balakand as well. Next, we have the example of Saptajanas. The Saptajanas en route from Kishkinda to Rishimuka, en route to Kishkinda from the Rishimuka mountain, Sugriva asked Lord Rama to bow down to the hermitage of the seven sages, Saptajanas, and who were very pious, and they conducted very rigorous sacrifices and austerities, and they were thus granted this privilege. And the fourth example is Shambuka, who wanted to go to heaven in this Shudra body. So this means that it is very difficult to go in the upper planets in the current material body, and is not offered to everyone, because this is against Prakriti. So whatever is for Prakriti, conducive with Prakriti, is the fact that after we die, we are cremated, the Panchabhutas is sent back, and the soul is still covered with the subtle body. If it has to endure some penances in hell, it will. And then when it's time, it'll take birth again, either in the material world, or it'll acquire a spiritual body and it'll go on. So Shambuka should not have conducted the austerities to attain heaven in the Shudra body. He was not eligible. So there was no question of him saying that my guru asked me to do this. He didn't mention that at all. And because of his adharmic activities, Narada Muni says that this had a direct consequence, because an innocent child died because of this. Therefore, he had to be punished. Now, what is up with punishment? When Vali had questioned Lord Rama as to why he punished him, Lord Rama utters two verses from Manusmriti. Rajbhi dhrita dandah cha kritva papa nimanavah nirmalam swargamayanti santa sukritino yatha shashanatva api mokshatva stena papa pramuchite rajat shasana papasya tadapnoti kilbisham. When the king gives the proper punishment to the sinner's sin is taken away, and he enters earth with the pious souls with good deeds. Now, if by either punishment or clemency, the criminal is absolved from the sin, but if the king does not give the proper punishment, then that sin is transferred to the king himself. So, as with Vali, when Lord Rama killed Vali, that was for Vali's benefit. Rama absolved him of all sins. Similarly, isn't the death of Shambuka at the hands of Rama a far better option than to lead an adharmic life? Isn't it? The next is that the Devatas tell Lord Rama As soon as Shambuka died, the boy returned to life. So by killing killing the mistake of one citizen, he gave life to another through this action. Next, we should also consider the benchmark reactions. Throughout Valmiki Ramayana, we get to see benchmark reactions. So, this is how perfect bhaktas behaved. So, if we do not behave similar to that, that means that something is wrong on our end. So, Sage Valmiki says that the pure bhaktas, the devatas, the devatas were so happy when Shambuka was killed, and they immediately said that that little Brahmin boy was also brought back to life. That little Brahmin boy was also brought back to life. So, if we do not think like, if we do not think like the devatas, something is wrong with us. Now, let's take a look at things in a very ordinary, practical way. Let's say a little child was crossing a road and someone comes and hits that child. That child dies. It's a very harsh thing, but let's say the child dies. And if the father of that child goes to court and says, I want you to punish the killer of my child, will the judge first say, let me consider the fact that the person who drove the car was a Shudra. I'm not going to punish a Shudra because you happen to be a Brahmana. I'm not. You should take it on. And but that the Shudra is, he can go scot free. Is this justice? No. A person killed someone else. He didn't do it purposely. He just drove the car, and the car was the one that dashed him. So the car was the tool. The car dashed that little child. So should the judge punish this person? Yes, because he was driving that car. So this, how else is that father going to get that justice? He will get that justice when that person who killed his son is punished. So at that time, should that judge say, are you a Shudra? I'm not going to cause any caste wars. So I'm not going to punish you. Is that right? No. Isn't this pretty much what Lord Rama did? Isn't this pretty much what Lord Rama did? There was a person who made a mistake. That mistake had a negative influence on an innocent little boy. Forget about the fact that he was a Brahmana. He's just an innocent little boy. And the father has come to Lord Rama claiming, I'm seeking justice. I'm seeking justice, O Lord Rama. Should Rama have just twiddled his thumbs and said, no, I'm not going to give you justice? Let the Shudra continue to perform austerities, and that's perfectly okay. You need to learn how to live with the death of your child. How harsh and how cruel would that be? But Rama is not like that. Someone does a mistake, he will go ahead and rectify it. To protect the people, he will rectify it. And just as how Bali did not suffer as a consequence of being killed by Lord Rama. Similarly, Shambuka also did not suffer. Shambuka wanted to go to the heavens. He went to the heaven. Just not in his material body. That's it. Just not in his Shudra body. But Rama sent him away. So, why is it so difficult for us to believe that what Rama did is correct? Because he did. He did behave in a righteous way. So, a person who takes just Shambuka's pastime, they will just read 2 chapters from Uttara Kanda and read it in isolation, and they will say, you know what? Rama, it's either they will say Rama could never have done something like this, therefore Uttara Kanda is not at all part of Valmiki Ramayana. Either they will say like this, or they will say Rama, he's creating caste divides. Are your caste and everything, Chatur Varnam Maya Shrishtam Guna Karma Vibhagasha. Krishna says he was the one who created the caste. Chatur Varnam Maya Shrishtam. The Maya is Krishna. It is not us. We did not create the caste. Maya Shrishtam by Krishna. Based on what? Based on guna and karma. Right now, people are taking it as janma and karma. That is not correct. It is due to guna and your karma. It is due to your qualities, due to your activities, that you become either a Brahmana or a Kshatriya or a Vaishya or a Shudra. Shambuka had enough clarity to know that he was a Shudra. Due to his gunas and due to his karmas, he knew that he is a Shudra. He knew it. He didn't need anyone to tell him, oh, am I a Brahmana? Can you please categorize me as a Brahmana? No. He himself says, I am a Shudra by the name of Shambuka. He says it. So when the caste system is not split based on birth, but is split based on guna and karma, should we still blame the Lord? I don't think so. Everyone has a particular propensity. Everyone. So I might be excellent in business. Therefore, I would be better in as a Vaishya. I might be excellent in praying and conducting sacrifices and reading the scriptures and all that. So I should be a Brahmana. If I am a laborer, Shudras are also a very integral part of society. Very integral. Very necessary, very important part of a society. So if Shudras are not there, who is going to manufacture stuff? They are the ones that build everything that the 3 Varnas uses. So if Shudras were not there, what is going to happen? If Brahmanas are not there, that is also not good. Kshatriyas are not there, who is going to defend the kingdom? That is also not good. Vaishyas are not there, how will the treasury roll? If there is no one who's dealing with the business side of things, how will things roll in the kingdom? And fourth, if there is no Shudra, then nothing will run. So Shudras are also a very integral part of the society. They are also important. They are also integral. And therefore, just going ahead and chastising the Lord for something is not correct. We need to just read Valmiki Ramayana in its entirety. We pulled out quotes from Balakan, from from Kishkinda Kand to prove all of this. So why is it difficult for us to believe that the Lord is correct? This is why we need to keep on listening to Ramayana over and over and over and over again. So I think with this, let us conclude today's lesson. Just going to stop sharing. Do we have any Mangalam Koslendraya Mahaniya Gunade Chakravarti Tanajaya Sarva Bhaumaya Mangalam Jai Sitaram